distinguished members of the press, first and foremost, I want to welcome each and every one of you to this brief function that we have invited you to share on what we are planning as COMESA Secretariat towards celebrating our Silver Jubilee. We also called you because, as the media, you are an important partner in development through your contributions in sharing information and knowledge, and most times sufficient credit is not given to your role. 25 years ago, on December 8th, 1994, the Preferential Trade Area of Eastern and Southern Africa, better known as PTA, was transformed to become COMESA for Eastern, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, and this year is our Silver Jubilee, and we have now begun preparations to celebrate this milestone with a series of activities within the month of November. The transformation from PTA to COMESA was informed by the need to take advantage of larger market under the common market beyond what is the Preferential Trade Area. As you all may know, the PTA was created here in Lusaka in 1981, and Zambia remains the permanent seat of COMESA. The theme of our celebrations is tied to our motto or our tagline, which is growing together for prosperity. To this motto, we have added 25 years to create the motto and the theme, 25 years of growing together for prosperity. Firstly, I want to take you through our program for the COMESA at 25 anniversary, which we plan to celebrate along the COMESA policy organ meetings. We are having these two major events together so that our member states can participate in the anniversary events as they attend the annual policy organ meetings. Leading up to the main event on the 28th November at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, we shall have the following anniversary events, ending with the policy organ meetings. We will start this Thursday with the COMESA Silver Jubilee Golf Tournament. This event will take place at Bonanza Golf Course in the Kasisi area of Lusaka on Friday, 22nd November from 8 hours to 18 hours. Our chief guest will be the Honorable Minister of Justice of the Republic of Zambia, Honorable Given Luwinda MP, representing His Excellency the President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. This event has attracted more than 20 corporate institutions, and others are still coming on board. This will be followed by a Saturday event, which will be the Silver Jubilee Football Tournament. This will take place at the OYDC Stadium in Lusaka, starting at 08 hours and ending at 16 hours. There will then be a retreat for our COMESA institutions on Sunday, 24th November 2019, and we shall have a retreat of all our heads of institutions, of COMESA institutions from all various member states. The next event will be on Monday, 25th November, which will be the meeting of the Intergovernmental Committee, which brings together the permanent or principal secretaries in the ministries that coordinate our programs in each of our member states. COMESA Day celebration itself will take place on 28th November, and activities on this day will include a panel discussion by eminent personalities on the topic of 25 years growing together for prosperity, the past and the future of COMESA. There will be a keynote address on the status of our regional integration, and it will be wrapped up with a gala dinner. This event will be attended by our member states delegations led by honorable ministers and other stakeholders and invited guests. The last meeting will be the 40th meeting of the COMESA Council of Ministers, which will take place on 29th November 2019, and will be the final event and the culmination of the anniversary celebrations and policy organ meetings. At about the same time, we shall have corporate social responsibility initiatives to support the underprivileged in our community. Every celebration must have a purpose. For us in COMESA, we are celebrating the positive impacts that our programs have had on the lives of the people in our region since the organization was established. One of our main achievements in comparison with other economic communities is the increase in geographical size. COMESA constitutes a third of Africa and has consistently been attracting new membership. Over the years, it has outgrown the Eastern and Southern Africa region and now covers a large part of Northern and Central Africa as well. Just last year, Tunisia and Somalia joined COMESA, raising the membership from 19 to 21 members. Our common market is now made up of 560 million people, occupying a third of Africa with a combined gross domestic product of $1 trillion. Trade and investment is about numbers. And no wonder COMESA is attractive to investment seekers and business people from outside the region looking for large markets. Our economic growth in terms of GDP has steadily averaged around 8% annually. With the launch of a free trade area in 2000, COMESA free trade area now consists of 16 out of our 21 member states. This means that trade amongst these countries is taking place on a duty-free, quota-free basis. Equally, the elimination of non-tariff barriers that inhibit trade have been a success story as well. About 90% of all NTBs reported in the past 10 years have been resolved. Under the tripartite free trade area, whose launch and signing was led by COMESA in 2015, most of the countries have signed the agreement, while 7 countries, namely Botswana, Burundi, Egypt, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, and South Africa, have ratified, while others are in the process of doing so. As you may know, the tripartite brings together 28 countries in COMESA, East African Community, and SADC in one market. The agreement takes a developmental approach to regional integration by including free trade area, industrialization, and infrastructure, and is a low-hanging fruit as almost all the instruments are ready for implementation. The African Continental Free Trade Area, which was successfully launched in May of this year, has learned a lot from COMESA and the tripartite framework. Indeed, the whole range of instruments for the tripartite were used as working documents for the Continental Free Trade Area. As we move into the next phase of our developmental process, we are cognizant of the central role that information, communication, technologies will play, and have accordingly positioned ourselves under the theme COMESA towards digital economic integration. Digitalization of our instruments, especially trade facilitation instruments, is a high priority. Estimates 4.3 billion annually once the digital tools are in place. Technical work on launching a digital certificate of origin and a regional trade portal is now completed. On trade facilitation, our instruments are the benchmark on the continent. They range from transit traffic facilitation, payments, infrastructure and transport corridor development, free movement of persons, trade in services, amongst others. The COMESA Yellow Card Scheme and the Regional Customs Transit Guarantee RCTG Carnet have been a runaway success. Last year alone, the RCTG Carnet issued $2 billion worth in customs bond for goods in transit, and is just about five countries in which the scheme is operational. The celebrated one-stop border post at Chirundu was first model promoted by COMESA, and this has been replicated across the African continent, with a number of other trailblazing trade facilitation instruments developed by COMESA and also replicated across Africa. Since the PT era, our organization has created robust and viable institutions, some of which have even outgrown the COMESA region and are now offering their services to the rest of the African continent and beyond. For example, the PTA Reinsurance Company, ZEPRI, Trade and Development Bank, which is now second to the African Development Bank in the continent, and the Africa Trade Insurance Company are now continental. Equally, the COMESA Competition Commission, which is the youngest at only 6 years old of our institutions, recently turned over $77 billion in major transactions. The Federation of National Association of Women in Business, FEMCOM, is one of our institutions dealing mainly with women economic empowerment. This institution, together with the Gender and Social Affairs Division at the Secretariat, ensures that COMESA is not only about trade in isolation, but also considers overall human development and empowerment of everyone, especially women and youth. On resource mobilization, to support our member states, To implement regional integration programs, COMESA has mobilized huge amounts of funding from a wide range of development partners, with the largest amount received from the European Union under the Regional Integration Support Mechanism, RISM. Under this program alone, the EU has provided 111 million euros. Members of the press, there are many other programs and activities that define COMESA, which I cannot exhaust at this forum. The purpose of today's briefing is to make a formal announcement of the commencement of our preparations to celebrate the COMESA 25th year anniversary and the 40th policy orbit meetings. Soon we shall be issuing the programs of activities to mark the COMESA Day on 28th November 2019. Given that COMESA is domiciled in Lusaka, there is no doubt that the people of Zambia will be keen to follow proceedings of our Silver Jubilee and policy organ meeting, and hence the need to keep them informed and engaged throughout this period. As usual, we will count on your support to tell this story as we look forward to your coverage of the upcoming events. Thank you all once again for coming, and I wish you a pleasant day. Thank you.